for me exercise 2. So the first thing we do, I already did a little bit. So the first thing we knew is we close debtors allowance to sales. You see? So debtors allowance to sales. Yes, you didn't get the notes. Okay, so step 1, we close debtors allowance to sales. Done and dusted. Now we close sales to the trading account. Penyo, how am I going to get that trading account amount? Anybody who wants to help? Okay, so what am I going to do? I'm going to balance. So I'm going to say 382 less 122 gives me this, which is what? 381396. And I'm going to transfer that to my trading account. 381396. Okay, now next step, I'm going to close cost of sales to the trading account. There we go. Ne? Hey, Sissa. Everybody still fine? Now I'm going to close the trading account to the profit and loss. And how do I do it? Once again, there's a space open. It's the same as with the sales. What am I going to do? I'm going to take the 38 and I'm going to subtract the 28. And it's going to give me this. What is this?
95349.
95349. And what do we call this 95349? What profit is this? The gross profit. Nee. Now I'm going to go, and you can see I already put everything in the profit and loss. What I did is, yes baby? The? Oh, that's wrong. Yeah. Thank you for being more awake than me. This should be profit and loss. You see, he was awake because the rule says you may not have the account in himself. Thanks for showing me. So now we are sharp. Hey, thank you. Now I'm going to close all the income and expenses to the profit and loss. So basically it looks like this. So the rent income I close. The stationery I close. Telephone I close. Interest on loan I close. You can just quickly look. They all look the same. And then in the end, it will be in the profit and loss like this. Yes. They have to? No. So you mean, can you have salary before stationery? Yes. It's fine. It's about the sides. Your T's are always about the sides. I can forgive orders, but not sides. Yes.
How did you get the 6,600?
What 6,000? Oh, that's my rent income. If I look at rent income, my balance is 66. So I close 66, but because it's an income, it's going to close to the credit side. What's wrong? Is the amount wrong? Are you sure? Okay. So now the same principle. I'm going to close the profit and loss to my capital. What is the principle? I add the plus side. What is this total here? 1949. And I know it's on both sides. 101949. And now How will I get the amount going to capital?
Balance.
I will subtract. Nee, so I'm going to say 101 less equals
Five,
an
56030.
030. And what is that 56030?
Capital.
This is my net profit. Nee. And remember I said that one there is my gross profit. Some people say gross profit, but that just sounds gross. Okay. So, now I need to go to capital. So I'm going to the capital. Can you guys see capital? Yes. So I'm going to close that 56030. We are very happy there. You see? So now I see the owner's initial investment, the owner's profit that he earned. We call it his earnings. This will be his earnings. Okay? And now I need to close drawings to capital. Why? Because if I close the drawings to the capital, I can see how much of the profit he already used. You see? And now I calculate what is my new capital. And this new balance here is the owner's equity. You see? It's a summary of the owner's equity. So, what is my balance COBD? So let's add the plus sign. What is that?
159960. Yeah, 659.
So it would be 159965. Less 24 gives me 1213. 135965. Okay. Are we sharp? Okay. Any questions up to here? So now let's go to the trial balance. I've tried to do a bit of the trial balance for you so long. So the only thing that's short is that capital of 135965. You see? And now it will balance. So what is this total that it balances on? Okay, say nice and slow. Okay. Then I see I still short the date. She said 595. So it's 144095. And this trial balance is on 28 February. And it's 20 what? If I look at this, remember it's exactly the same date. 26. You see? And that's that. So I want you to look at question 3 and I want you to see, now they give me a pre-adjustment trial balance. And you remember at the start of when we started the closing transfers, I said to you, oh, you know, we do all these different things. So I started with the closing transfers and the post-closing trial balance. Right. Now today, I give you the pre-adjustment trial balance. And now we first need to do adjustments. So adjustments is transactions that is necessary to do before I set up my financial statements for me to have a picture of what is my expected income and expenses for the 12 months of this financial year. Okay. Then I do the post-closing, then I do closing transfers. Okay. Now, if I look at this, what you will see is here at the bottom they have adjustments. But this is stuff that you know. Can you see? You know. If I write off a debtor's debt, you know how to do that. If I charge a debtor's account with interest. If a debtor returns goods. Now, we're going to do it a little bit different than the first two. I'm not going to ask the same amount of detail because it's not expected of you. What I'm going to do is, can you see, if you look at the next page, capital, I gave you lines because I want you to do capital in full. But can you see debtors and trading stock, I didn't give you lines because we're just going to use the sides. Ne? Because we want to calculate. Okay? Can you see? And then when you get to trading account, profit and loss, there's lines because I want you to do the full thing. Okay. So I'm going to do this exercise with you, right? So that you're fine for the next one. So, if I look at write off a debtor's debt. Now let's quickly go think at my AOL. If I have to do account debit, account credit. Ne? Can we stop talking, please? So, this first one. If I asked you to do the AOL, what would I debit, what would I credit if I write off a debtor's debt? In other words, bad debts. Okay, that doesn't work. Let's quickly look. There is a debtor's control, 979. So his balance would be this side. 9790. I'm not going to do the T. I just want to see which sides things are. And bad debts. Does bad debts have a balance? And I see yes. It has a balance there. 2000. So I put in the 2000 there. Okay. Now, if I look at these two accounts, and I say to you, okay, I'm writing off a debtor's debt. What happens to the debtor's control? Will the total debt increase or decrease? It will decrease. So, debtor's control will credit. What will happen to my expense bad debts? Will it increase or decrease? It will increase. Can you see? You guys with me? Okay. So you can do it one of two ways. For me, it's easy to quickly go to my AOL, ne? And to say, oh, I would have said bad debts, debtors control, ne? So I know my debtors control will credit and my bad debts will debit. Or you can do little T's, ne? You're literally going to get into a habit of drawing little T's. And the T says, my debtors control, if a debtor's debt is written off, it will be credited because my total debt decreased. Does that make sense? Okay? And my expense for bad debt is increasing. Sure. Let's go to the next one. I charge a debtor's account with 40 Rand interest. I already got a debtor's control, but I see here's also a T for interest on overdue debtors. Is there a balance for interest on overdue debtors? Yes or no? Do you see it? in the trial balance? No. So it's empty. So now I ask myself, is this an income or an expense? It's an income, ne? Because that debtor is going to give me, he owes me more. So now if I charge a debtor with interest, what happens to the debtor's debt? Does it plus or minus? So can you see my debtor's control will plus? What happens to my interest? It will also plus. And if you don't know which side, can you see, you know you must go opposite side. You're actually telling me that this trial balance is not done. There's still transactions that we didn't take into account when we draw up this trial balance. In other words, if I look at bad debt, that bad debt amount is not done. So now they give me what they call adjustments. So the word adjustment literally means it's transactions that I still need to fix amounts with here in the trial balance.
I apologize for the interruption.
Now, I basically, if I didn't have any books, I would literally just go say there, oh, the debtor's control is going to minus with 3,000 and it's getting more with 40. Can you see? I just want to change that amount. That's what I'm doing now. You with me? Okay. So, with the bad debt, if you think about it, your debtors is going to decrease. The bad debt is going to increase because my expense becomes more. When I charge a debtor's account with interest, the debtor's debt will increase. And now I have an extra account here that's not here. Interest on overdue debtors must still go in 40 Rand. You see? Because it's an income, so it's on the credit side. So basically, I'm fixing the trial balance. That's what I'm doing. Okay. Now, the last one. A debtor returns goods to the value of whatever. If a debtor returns goods, it's DAJ. Oh, if it's DAJ, how many accounts? 4, ne? Debtor's allowance, ne? Debtor's control, trading stock, cost of sales. Can you see? It's most just a swap of my sales. Remember, sales would have been debtor's control, sales, cost of sales, trading stock. So now I'm just swapping the stuff. The sales become a debtor's allowance. The debtors go credit. Trading stock goes debit. Cost of sales go credit. Don't you remember, this is grade 9 work? Ne? If I say things like that, this is grade 9 work, it means I assume you know it. So if you do not know it, baby, it means this afternoon, this is a format you need to go sit and study, so that when you come to class tomorrow, you know it. Because there's no excuse for not knowing it. So now I've got 4 accounts. So if I look at the 4 accounts, can you see it's going to be debtors control and trading stock, cost of sales and debtors allowance. So that's the 4 I need. So debtors control, will debtors control become more or less in this case? Think about it. What happens to a debtor's debt if they return goods? It decreases. Can you see the debtors decrease? Will their debt decrease with the selling price or the cost price? What do they owe you? The selling price. So what's the selling price? 600. So can you see my debtors is literally getting less. What will I debit with the 600? What's the T that goes with stock being returned. Ne? A debtor's debt is going to get less. No. I do with debtor's allowance and debtor's control. Please pay attention. I do the selling price because that is the price the debtor paid, and that's the price that influenced my sales. With the trading stock and the cost of sales, I use the cost price because this is now stock coming back to me. Okay, so I've done my debtor's control. What am I going to debit? Debtor's allowance. Did I give you a debtor's allowance somewhere? I see there. And I see debtor's allowance is must say expense. And it has a debit balance of 45,200. And what's happening now? The debtors was credited. Debtor's allowance is going to be debited because this expense is now becoming more. Does that make sense? Okay? If I look at this, my debtor's control will minus. My cost of sales will minus. My debtor's allowance and my trading stock will plus. Okay. Let's go through it. Let's go through it. If I sell this remote for 100 rand and I sell it to someone, that someone now owes me 100 rand, ne? And my sales is 100 rand. Now the person returns it. So now that person doesn't owe me anymore. So I need to subtract the 100 from what he owes me, and I need to subtract the 100 from my sales. But I don't do it directly with sales. I do it through the account that I call debtor's allowance. Because in the end, I'm just going to close that to sales, and it's going to make my sales less. Isn't that true? Okay, now the same goes with the stock. So this remote, I sold for 100, but it cost me 40 bucks. So now when I sell it, my stock becomes less with 40 bucks. Ne? And my cost of sales becomes more with 40 bucks because it's the cost of the thing that I sold. If the guy returns it, can you see my stock becomes more with 40 bucks now? And my cost of sales I need to cancel. So let's go look. I see cost of sales has a debit balance of 176 because it's a expense. And my trading stock has got a balance of 23.1 and it's an asset. So now they're returning the stock, so now I use the cost price. And the cost price is 320. My stock becomes more and my cost of sales I cancel. Everybody shout. Okay, talk to me. Why don't you understand? So if you know your format of your AOL, you literally just write the format of the AOL. You see? Now I see debtor's allowance is on the debit side. So I take the sales price, I write it on the debit side of debtor's allowance. Now I see debtor's control is on the credit side. So I take the selling price, I write it on the credit side of debtor's control. Okay? Now I look and I see, okay, trading stock is on the debit side. Trading stock, I take the cost price, I write it on trading stocks, debit side. Cost of sales is on the credit side, so I go to cost of sales, I write the cost price on the credit side. Okay. Now I see that was the only transaction. Right. So I can literally now go and start with my closing transfers. So my closing transfers works like this. What is step 1? I close debtors allowance to sales. So, but can you see, I don't want the formal account. I know my sales has got a balance of 264. Do you understand what I'm doing? I'm just using the figures in the sides. Right. Because later on, you're just going to use T's with the figures and the sides. Okay. So now I say, debtors allowance, I close to sales. Ne? How much is going to sales now? 4,5,800. Can you see I added those two? So the 4,5,800 goes to sales. There it is. Now I close sales to trading account. How much will go to the trading account? I say 264 less 45 gives me what? 218. And that 218 I take to my trading account. $218, 200. But now I want you to do the account for me. So I'm going to write here sales. And the date is 31st March. How do I know it? Here. Second step. I close cost of sales to the trading account. Now if I look there, what is my cost of sales that goes to trading account? Now the moment something is on a opposite side, what do? I plus or minus? I minus. Okay, so I'm going to say 176 less 320 gives me 175 680. And that 175 680 is going to go here. So I say cost of sales now normal. I close my trading account to the profit and loss. And how much will that be? I will literally say 218 less 175, and that will give me my profit and loss of how much? Anybody? 425 520, like that. Yes. Yes. So now I need to do the income and expenses. So what I usually do is I first go to my nominal section and I see which ones had calculations. And I see bad debt had a calculation. So I'm going to close 5,000. Can you see that? Can you see where I get that? Hmm? Oh, sorry. So I just add those two to give me the 5,000. I know bad debt is an expense, so it's going to end here on the debit side. Bad debt, 5,000. And I want you to get into the habit of writing in brackets how you got to it. The 2 plus the 3. Get in that habit, because in accounting we mark like this. Grade 10 we mark like this. If you have 5,000, you get 3 ticks. But if, let's say for instance, you did something wrong here, I mark it actually like this. 1 tick for that, 1 tick for that, and because one of the parts are correct, you get what we call a principal. You see? But if your answer is right, you get full marks, but you do not want to take the chance of missing the part marks if your final answer is wrong. Okay, so I've done bad debt. Now I see after bad debt, I've got interest on overdue debtors, which goes to the credit side. Interest on overdue debtor, $40. And everything else, there's no other nominal that changed. So now I can literally just transfer from the trial balance. I can literally just transfer. So now I close to capital. Who can tell me the amount for capital? Anybody? What's the amount that goes to capital?
135.
Yes. And then I go to capital. $30,135. I see I still need to put in capital's balance, the opening balance. I know this is March the 31st, profit and loss. And then I still need to go and close what to capital?
Drawings.
The drawings. Can I take this profit and loss away? Okay. So let's go to drawings. Drawings has got a balance of 6158. And I'm going to close this now to capital. So the debit side is 6158. Here's my drawings. And now I can balance capital. I see capital is again in the weird space. Let me just bring it down. Okay. So, balance CO, balance BD. It's going to be April the 1st, ne? Okay. So now when I go to the post-closing trial balance on 31st March 2026, I know the first one is capital. My capital balance is 171487. So now I use my balance sheet section, ne? So I'm just going to transfer everything, but I must remember trading stock and debtors are going to change. I want to show you how I would want you to write it down. So trading stock, I want you to write the balance and the calculation, ne? So that you know what is my trading stock now. If I add it, it's 23,420. My debtors control had a balance of 9,790, less the bad debts, add the interest, less the return. And what is my balance now? No, it's going to be very little. It's going to be 6,000 something. 6,230. And I mustn't forget this folios. Now I just balance, and they have to balance the totals in the end. So who can tell me what does it balance on? 2,207.